viewers. Welcome to your favorite news channel, 24 hours in English. I'm Juan Vasquez and I will tell you about some news for around the world. Let's start with informing about recent news in our northern neighbor, USA. Thousands of people in the United States protest these days because they want to do justice for the racist acts that the police have carried out for a long time. They say that this injustice can't continue. We are all the same, and someone shouldn't be treated differently just for the color of his skin. Protest screams in the streets for justice, crying out for the justice in the face of the recent murder of an African American man by a white police officer, of the abusive use of the force. Millions of dollars in public infrastructure have been lost at the expense of these people's vandalism acts, and the government has spoken out saying that they won't longer tolerate this act. In other news, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, told the media during a press conference that he has zero symptoms of the well-known COVID-19 thanks to the fact that he took hydroxychloroquine, an antimalarial drug. Scientists have not confirmed if it works to cure or counteract the coronavirus. The Donald Trump statement caused thousands of Americans to buy this medicine, hoping to be immune to the virus thanks to it. But the only thing that they managed to do was create a great storage for those who really need it. Testimonies of people who had treatments based on this medicine confirmed that the increase of the price, which made it from them impossible to continue with the treatment. For a very recent news from Ecuador, the former Ecuadorian president Abdullah Bucaram said while the authorities were taking him prisoner, "Que viva la patria," referring to the phrase for some other counterparts. Authorities arrested him at his home after discovering that he was storing medical supplies that were missing from various hospitals. They also found him with a firearm and ammunition, to which he replied that it was Pedro Moncayo who gave it to him, and that had it for no reason other than a souvenir. His sons commented that they didn't know anything about it, and their father's actions had a little or nothing to do with the recent earnings that they record. Investigations were carried out in this regard, and to these days, captured flyers were raised before the members of this family and their relatives, because they were found involved in a corruption network that has taken our Ecuadorians' money for a long time.
Hi, my name is Ayat. I am going to talk about you, the environmental news. Okay, first we have analysis, a mandatory coordinator of the Secretary of Environment of Quito, Valeria Diaz, said that the most drastic decrease in environmental pollution in Quito has been evident in the levels of nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, and material particulate. Quito has reported the lowest level of air pollution in it has a history during the 78 days of mandatory isolation from the third week of March to June 2. The concentration of the pollutants has been between 13% and 70% lower than the average values. Justin Trudeau said that the plastic pollution was a worldwide blame. The parents say when they took the children to the beach, they had to look for sounds that hasn't filling with plastic bottles or styrofoams. Canada could ban single-use plastic from 2021. Bans, coffee lids, and bottles would be mainly the products had affected by that decision. The statement by the Canadian Premier Minister say that 1 million beers and more that 100,000 mammals worldwide suffer and die each year from has been had caught in the middle of plastic debris or eaten by mistaking them for food. Municipality of Quito say that after resuming activities in the city at a yellow line, environmental pollution had increased. They say the increase in pollution came mainly from vehicular traffic. They said one of the reasons from the increase in the levels of pollutants, mainly nitrogen dioxide, was the massive use the private vehicle to carry out daily activities on fear of exposing themselves to possible contagions on the public service buses.
Hi teacher, my name is Ryan Flores. I am going to talk about 4 news. Lenin Moreno, President of the Republic of Ecuador, said that the emergency for COVID-19 has not ended. The President said that the curve of the pandemic continued to rise and that it was evident that children and the elderly had been more prone to contagion. The COE has reported very high contagion figures during this period. As part of May for only operations in the productive sector and the part of the commercializing activity were reactivated, also saying that Ecuador suffers the highest contagion curve and the system will not return to normal. Researcher Clemente Maximo said yesterday that the coronavirus viral load is 100 times weaker than in early March. According to Clemente and another experts, the clinical picture changed and the severe cases of the onset of the pandemic decreased. The researcher said that the hospitals were unable to receive patients and that they underwent isolated breathing in the intensive care unit. Those infected with the virus died on the streets because there was a lack of medical attention in the country and the doctors did not want to expose themselves to the contagion. Juan Manuel Aguirre, director of the Metropolitan Transit Agency, said that the review is suspended 2020 in Quito. Due to the pandemic, the director wrote a letter to the ANT saying that it was a very hasty decision to start activities in the mandatory mechanic review. He said that there had been many people in the facilities and they still do not have biosecurity plan. He said that daily activities at the ANT will be restarted after confinement by COVID-19.